Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the National Racing Network, where tonight we continue our fun and frivolity of the TNT Rock Block with the TNT Bolt Series. My name is Chris Graham, and as always, going to be joined in the booth tonight by Mr. James Watson, taking on the Sonoma Cup Series layout, and James getting to play a home game here tonight.
Woo! You know I'm always happy to come back home.
Got to pick up your first win in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series 1 week ago. Now you get to run at home here in the TNT Bolt Series. I would imagine you're probably looking forward to this one pretty big.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough because as you've seen in this series, me and this car don't really get along all that well. But I have probably a million laps around this place, and I'm not kidding. I race this track anytime I can in any video game it's in. So that's the only thing that might help me be competitive is my experience on this track. Certainly not any sort of talent in this car.
Well, I was going to say the lack of talent really showing a little bit here, as James currently 9th in the practice standings, 3 seconds off of Christian Jasper's best lap time. That's who we're following along with here. I'll tell you what, though, James, Jasper is putting some laps up here tonight.
Yeah, we were kind of trying to figure out what setup he's using, because good lord, he's got something. He's even faster than Nicholas, who we saw dumpster us back in Suzuka a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Christian Jasper, Matt Houston, both about a half second up on everybody else. Wes Shire, Nicholas Daly, Stephen Thompson, the top 5. But it's even a full second between Daly and Thompson. We could see a couple of race leaders check out early on in this one.
Yeah, but I feel like, knock on wood, this may be one of our more unpredictable races because this track is completely and utterly unpredictable. It's so easy to mess up. The high curbs, the off-camber turns, the fast S's. There's really not an easy place on this track, and that's one of the things I've always loved about it.
Taking a look at the weather conditions presented by our friends at the Weather Center. Significantly different from the last time we were here watching the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series, with track temperatures 125 degrees for that race. Tonight's conditions, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind's going to be out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour. Only 84-degree track temperature. Really not much better conditions that you could ask for here as a driver, James.
Nope. Pretty much par for the course with what we get during the summers. It gets hot around here in June and July. I've practically lived at this place all my life, so I know what this place is like when it gets hot. So yeah, further adding to the unpredictability of this race, because there's not a whole lot of grip to go around.
One of the things that we're taking a look at here, you, Wes Shire, and Bill Walker all kind of in the shot together here. The elevation changes, the corner varieties, there really is a lot to love about this layout of Sonoma.
I really wish you could have gotten when I spun in turn 10 earlier and did a complete 360 and without hitting anything. That was a lot cooler than that spin.
Yeah, I was going to say, that one was a little, well, it looked like you ran out of talent there mid-corner. But it speaks to the fact that downforce is going to be important. This race is not going to be an easy one in these cars.
No, you're going to need about as much downforce as you can get, really. You don't really have an actual straight, so you're not going to need any of that top-end speed. So whatever gets you through these corners and helps you keep off of the, well, what we call grass, it never really looks like it, the better.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't race here in the spring months when this place is absolutely stunningly beautiful when everything
I
is
know.
green.
Seriously, like, this place is absolutely gorgeous in the 2 weeks it's actually green because of the 2 weeks we actually get rain.
Yeah, pretty
Otherwise, it's
much.
drought conditions 10 months out of the year.
So down to the last 15 seconds of practice, and Christian Jasper looks like he will be quickest. But Wes Shire got up to second quick. Let's see what he can do. He won't get the lap in, but I tell you what, Wes was on a heater for that one as well. But it's going to be time to qualify here in about 5 seconds or so. And there it is. Christian Jasper is your quick timer in practice. Now we'll see what everybody can do. And group qualifying going out here tonight. As always, group qualifying for the for the USF 2000 cars of the TNT Bolt Series. I haven't even been drinking much yet.
That's the scary thing.
Taking a look here, looks like it's going to be, I think Matt Houston might be the first car that we get across the start-finish line to set a lap here. "10 minutes of qualifications to set the field." So far, Mike McCullen, Christian Jasper, Nicholas Daly, and J.W. Miller not on the racetrack. 12 cars on the entry list here tonight. And I believe it will be Matt Houston. I'm sorry, James Watson going to be the first one to get a lap in. But it's going to be a 143.239. That's basically because of where James came out of the pits, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of tire warming going on in that lap. So I'm not that slow. I'm a solid 2 seconds faster than that.
Which I believe is going to put you about 11 seconds off qualifying pace. We'll pick up Wes Shire, who's just back behind you. Matt Houston, purple the first 2 sectors. Wes goes purple in the mid-sector. Total of 5 here around Sonoma. I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 sectors here at Sonoma. Tell you what, though, Matt Houston is on a big-time heater. Pick him up off the final corner. Easily new quick time, top of the board. Matt Houston, 1 minute 30.568. 90.568 seconds for Matt Houston. Matt will be handling the Indy Pro 2000 official broadcast here for the National Racing Network this week. And you will be able to find that right here on the NRN YouTube channel. It'll be YouTube only for that show this week, by the way. So if you're used to watching us on Twitch, head on over to youtube.com/National Racing Network. Open up the app on your phone, and you'll be able to find all the NRN coverage there. J.W. Miller going purple middle sector after a couple of personal bests in the first two. Miller losing those purple sectors. Matt Houston sets a new overall best sector 1. New overall best sector 4. See what he can do to finish the lap out here as we approach the halfway point in qualifying. Houston is across the line. New quick time, 90.036 seconds. He was on a quick one, but Wes Shire is on an absolute flyer as well. See what Wes is going to be able to do. Second quick, 90.560 seconds. Matt Houston with a full half second ahead of the rest of the field. That was a pretty darn spectacular lap. Follow along with Christian Jasper in the number 67. He was quickest in practice. Nicholas Daly putting up a new fastest middle sector. So the times are starting to fall here. Peter Donchak qualifying in the 7th position at 94 seconds. The time of the lap for Donchak. Here is Christian Jasper going personal best every sector, but no purple ones there. Jasper going to be 6th quick, 91.684 seconds. Pick up J.W. Miller in one of the Team Watson racing cars as Simon Fell moves up to 7th quick in qualifying. Simon now goes to 5th quick, 91.274 seconds on the lap time. James Watson at a solid 133, so he's not 11 seconds off the pace. J.W. Miller really has that middle hunk of the racetrack figured out. That car is getting quicker as he goes. Problem was he went orange in the first 2 sectors, so slower than his personal best in the number 6. Does the same orange sector through number 4 as well. J.W. Miller across the line. He's going to stay 3rd quick. Christian Jasper moves up to 2nd quick. 90.234 the lap time. Oh, and he's going to just about lose it right at the top of the hill. Nice save, but it's going to basically kill the lap. And I'll tell you what, James, this really is a place where it's almost like you need a couple of laps to get some heat in the tires.
Yep. So you really wouldn't expect it to, because with all the corners, you're building heat all the time. But that's the problem, is you need heat to not die in the corner.
Pick up Nicholas Daly as he works around. Set a couple of personal best sectors to start this one here, as we're down to the last 90 seconds of qualifying. Once the clock runs out, drivers will have a little bit of time to complete the lap. But it's not totally like the real world where you get the full window to get your lap completed.
It's usually enough, though. It gives you around 2 minutes. That's good enough to finish your lap at 90% of the circuits on the service.
Nicholas Daly jumps up to second quick. 90.151 seconds. What's he going to be able to do here with his final lap in qualifications? Chris Kresge putting in a pretty good laps thus far. 3 green sectors, all personal best. To start the lap, going a tick slower in Sector 4. We'll see where Kresge's going to be able to time in. Stephen C. Thompson is off the racetrack and not qualifying. Same is true for Mike McCullen. McCullen, in fact, not getting a lap in here in qualifications. Checkered flag is out on the qualifying session. Laps now. Again, with about 2 minutes left on the clock there, as James mentioned, drivers will have the time to complete their laps. J.W. Miller will be the first to cross the line to finish his run. Miller going to stay in the 5th position. Nicholas Daly down across the line to complete his run. New quick time, 89.983 seconds. Monster lap. Christian Jasper do. Matt Houston goes quicker. Jasper down to 1 minute 30 flat. My goodness, 4 cars within about 0.4 of a second of each other. What a finish to qualifying. Wes Shire going to have a shot to get this lap in the books as well. What is Wes going to have to say at the end of this? Second quick, 89.847 seconds. Wow, what a couple of laps for Matt Houston and Wes Shire to close out their qualification runs. That was pretty epic.
Meanwhile, I'm just over here happy I managed to cut 1.7 seconds off my previous fastest lap.
Not a bad lap time, and you take your small wins here where you can get them, right?
Yeah, hooray. Hooray for mediocrity.
Watson going to go full send into turn number 1 here.
I'm desperate for a hometown W, so I wouldn't put it past me.
Full golden bowling ball. So now we are going to get ready to grid these cars up and go racing. Stephen C. Thompson, the first car to get out onto the grid, and here is your starting lineup for tonight's 12-car TNT Bolt Series feature. Matt Houston and Wes Shire on the front row, 57 thousandths of a second separating your top 2. Nicholas Daly and Christian Jasper are going to occupy the second row for the start of this race here this evening. J.W. Miller, Simon Fell on row number 3. Stephen Thompson and James Watson on row number 4. Chris Kresge and Peter Donchak on row 5. Bill Walker, Mike McCullen on row number 6. McCullen not taking a lap in qualifying. We'll see if he's going to try to get out onto the grid here. Still waiting on your pole sitter, J.W. Miller and Mike McCullen. And then we will be ready to go racing. So what's the thought process here, James, as you get ready to run? We don't often have this conversation with you. You're starting mid-pack, maybe don't have the same pace as the leaders at the front of the field. What's the strategy here? Is it try to stay close? Is it just run your own race? What are you thinking here?
Basically a mixture of those two. Like I said, this track is very difficult, and we've seen disaster races at places this season like New Hampshire Roval and Phillip Island, tracks that are significantly easier than this. So there's going to be a lot of attrition, a lot of chaos. So for someone like me, if I can keep the car on the track, I might be able to walk away with a good finish, i.e., me snagging top fives at Long Beach and Sebring, doing just that.
I think there's going to be a lot of that. Keep the car clean. Don't make any mistakes. What do you think the key parts of the racetrack here are as we get to about the halfway point of the pace lap?
Gestures vaguely at entire track map. Seriously,
Yes.
There's not a single corner on this track that isn't trying to kill you, because you have the huge run-up turn 1 where you can barely see anything, and then you got to slow it down and make a hard cut onto turn 2, but not cutting it too close to where you clip the curb and spin out. And then you got another similar setup of corners in 3 and 3A. Again, if you clip the corner too hard, you yeet the car off the track because the curb is so high, and then you got all that speed and inertia carrying you off onto the narrow bit of road right after it. Then it's easy to die turning down towards the entrance of the chute, and then you go all the way down to the carousel. And with these cars, if you get off the throttle too easy and too hard, you spin out. And then there's no braking markers in the next hairpin. And then trying to snake your way through the S's while on the edge, because there's hardly any rear grip in this car. All the way through to here, turn 10, which, again, it's very easy to spin. And then this, we've seen a lot of chaos over the years, right down here in turn 11. So yeah, there's your super duper track walk. Hooray, now it's time to go green.
Field's going to make
more often.
I was going to say, Field's making their way off the final corner. Green flags in the air. We are underway at Sonoma. Up the hill towards turn number 2. The blind entry corner. So easy to make the mistake here. Thus far, everybody through cleanly, but no big separation at the front of the field. Nicholas Daly chopping off J.W. Miller just a little bit. Matt Houston holds on to the lead from pole. Wes Shire a couple of car lengths back. Christian Jasper slides wide. That'll put Nicholas Daly up to 3rd, drop Jasper to 4th. Top 5 already distancing themselves from 6th place. Simon Fell. Simon going to be in a good battle with Stephen Thompson. Will stay here at the front, at least for the first lap or so.
Well, that's really unfortunate.
Oh, what'd you do, buddy?
Oh, it wasn't me.
Oh. Oh yeah, we got stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, see what happened on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay.
Yeah, I don't think Kresge realized that you needed to slow down right there.
Oh yeah.
Whoever was behind me.
Yeah, you took a big old shot in the ass there. Go back to the live look.
I thought there was no downforce on this car to begin with.
So James Watson making his way back into the pit area. And our graphics software giving us a hard time here, so there we go. Now we're back to the race leaders. Matt Houston with Wes Shire all over the back end. Top 5 still breaking away big time from Stephen C. Thompson. Let's see here. Let me get the graphics reloaded, and then we will answer this question from 90210. So what's this track called? Sonoma, Infineon, Sears Point? This will always be Sears Point. At least for me, anyway. Oh, man. Nicholas Daly way wide in the turn 11 hairpin. Oh, JW. Good Lord, son. Get that thing under control. Whole lot of dancing ass out of J.W. Miller there. Seeing Simon Fell having an issue, he had to jump back to the pits. So once again, keeping our eyes here on the front of the field. Wes Shire setting the fastest lap of the race last time by. And I wonder here, James, are you going to get a little bit of drafting help? As much as the straights are not all that long, these cars do punch a pretty sizable hole in the air.
Nick Daly off in the carousel.
Oh, how about that one? Get you a Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here. Daly slides it wide. Man, Christian Jasper almost getting it off the racetrack as well. Daly losing a ton of time there at the top of the hill.
And it gets worse. Because he did it in the carousel, too.
And let's see here. We are going to go... Unfortunately, looks like we will not be able to give you instant replays here for the rest of the night. Graphics are not behaving themselves. So Christian Jasper, J.W. Miller battling tight for third and fourth. The race just as tight for the race lead. Matt Houston, Wes Shire holding on to each other tight. 90210. Do these cars have ARCA brakes? Yes, yes they do. How about Wes Shire to the outside? Oh, that's ballsy. Not able to make the pass stick. Matt Houston holds on to the race lead, but he knows he's going to have to fight with Wes at this point. If you're into some pretty cool storytelling, check out Tales from Rukon over on YouTube. It is
especially the most recent episode, the one shot. If you want to hear the greatest piece of voice acting in the history of history, watch the most recent episode. You will be rolling the entire 3 hours. Trust.
Yeah, Wes Shire putting on a big time show. It's a Dungeons and Dragons live stream, podcast show, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't feel like Dungeons and Dragons though. It's basically just some pretty cool storytelling.
Exactly. That's what makes it great. It's palatable for all kinds, nerds and non-nerds alike.
I will speak for the non-nerds, and we'll let James speak for the nerds.
Yes.
Oh, that's spectacular. James is back on the racetrack, by the way. Mike McCullenay did not start. Simon Fell out of the race after a couple of laps. The two fights we have right now. Oh, Chris Kresge having to take the tow back to the pit area. We'll try this one more time here and see if we can get you a Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Just overshoots the corner, bangs the left side into the concrete barriers. He missed the tires completely.
It's like me at the opening laps of the S for Indy race here.
Yeah. All right, so yes, that will be the final instant replay of the night. Matt Houston holding on to the race lead. Wes Shire currently running second. They are still nose to tail. The fight between Christian Jasper and J.W. Miller has settled down just a little bit. Nicholas Daly setting another fastest lap of the race. And he is very quickly closing on Stephen C. Thompson. Actually, the pre-race, we didn't get to show you this, so we'll take a look at it now as things have settled down just a little bit. Get you our race results from 1 week ago. One of the best finishes we have seen in a very, very long time. J.W. Miller getting the win at Sebring over Nagisa Yoshikawa and Wes Shire. That race was an absolute ton of fun to broadcast. Taking a look at the point standings, J.W. Miller with the points lead over Wes Shire, 214 to 206. Going to be a tight battle as we get down the stretch. Simon Fell, Bill Walker, and Mike McCullen round out your top five. Nicholas Daly getting around Stephen Thompson as we were taking a look at the point standings. Matt Houston has opened up the gap to about a half second over Wes Shire. We'll pick up the fight between Christian Jasper and J.W. Miller. So let us know in the comments where you're watching from here, where you're checking in. We love to try to make these broadcasts as interactive as possible. There's only so much I can talk to James about. I don't speak weeb, so that's sort of...
Yet.
Yeah.
I will corrupt you one of these days. Just you wait.
Oh, that's fantastic. So the gap for third is opened up, but take a look here. The race leaders are back within a couple of car lengths. Out of the hairpin, over the start-finish line. Put lap number 8 on the scoreboard. Peter Donchak having an issue here. Getting off track, back on track, off track, back on track. And it's allowing James Watson to catch in a hurry.
Now we have 3 battles. Let's go.
Well, I don't know that we can call this one a battle yet. This one we can.
What does that battle have over this one? It's only for the lead. Who cares about that?
Not only is it for the lead, but it's closer than the fight you're involved in as well. Same spot.
Give me time, okay?
Same spot on the racetrack. Wes Shire tried the outside move a couple of laps ago. He tucks right back in, but now you got the run through the S's. And that's one of the other, I guess, characteristics of this racetrack here at Sonoma. There's a lot of places where you just have to hurry up and wait.
Sorry. This battle has just gotten a heck of a lot closer and slightly more terrifying.
Let's see. Let's slide back here and pick this one up because everybody else is behaving themselves now. Christian Jasper holding a 1 second gap over J.W. Miller.
Hooray, airtime.
Well, we're looking at Peter's car right now, the fantastic footwork throwback livery. The only kind of
hang on to her, Petey.
The only kind of acceptable F1 livery is something out of the mid-'80s.
Oh! Whoa.
Oh! Way off the racetrack!
I told you this was more exciting.
Good Lord, how did Peter Donchak save that?
I don't know, but that was impressive as heck. You go, Petey! Just behind me!
I can't believe the car is in a straight line still. That is impressive.
That was amazing. Like, seriously.
Now we're going to go right back to the battle for the lead. Another lap in the books. It'll be cross flags and halfway home this time by. Matt Houston setting the fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 30.115. But he's only got about a half second on Wes Shire. That's close enough that any mistake and Wes is going to have an opportunity to get past.
Yeah, it's cool. We don't get a whole lot of opportunities to see Matt actually race. He does a great job broadcasting over at our rivals, but business rivals / partners Raceverse. So we're always used to him being up in the booth. So it's always cool to see him get out and mix it up with us.
Yeah, and a huge thank you to Matt for taking on the Indy Pro 2000 show for us this week. I will be out of the country and unavailable to broadcast. So you'll see, it'll be Matt on the call this week, but it'll be right here on the National Racing Network YouTube channel.
With yours truly still there.
Yes. Make sure you talk to Matt about that.
Yeah, you're going to Scotland, aren't you?
That is correct. My ass will be on a plane by this time tomorrow night.
That means you get to spend all week in a kilt. Yeah, that's exactly what the people want to see. Yeah.
No, I will not be a dude in a dress. However, we will be attending a rugby game that I'm fairly certain is going to be contested in the absolute pouring rain. So there is a very high chance of face paint and heavy beer consumption.
Jeez, showing up looking like Braveheart. Good God.
Yeah, damn right we are. Oh, that's fantastic. Peter Donchak having an issue. He is now 12.5 seconds back of James Watson.
Petey, no.
So James looks, we'll say, comfortable-ish in the 8th position. Guy who's not comfortable is Matt Houston. Wes Shire is right there. Giving him the peek into 3A. Get over the top of the hill, rake the run down to turn number 4. This is really where it feels like Matt's able to open up the gap a little bit. Wes is great up the hill. Matt really good coming back down. Through the carousel, that big sweeping left-hander. Nobody wants to talk to us in the comments tonight either here, James. I think that's
so
you.
So lonely. You're probably... It's interesting to see Jasper start to gap JW a little bit.
Yeah, the gap's sitting pretty consistently, right about 1 second between those two. It's one of those battles that if the fight for the lead wasn't as close as it is, we would probably be showing that. Oh, but Jasper having a little bit of an issue because JW just caught right back up. That's now down to about a third of a second here that Christian Jasper has over J.W. Miller. That's the fight for the final spot on the podium as we work lap number 12. So it'll be 6 to go next time by the flag stand. Here comes J.W. having the look. Not close enough. Now he's going to have to hang right behind Jasper through the S's. And that's not the easiest ask either.
No. I mean,
These cars, they lose so much downforce on the front end.
Yeah, but I don't really think the dirty air is that much of a worry. You know, it's definitely messing with him, but I don't think it's as bad as it would be in a much bigger, much more downforce heavy car. These wings are still relatively paper.
The gap back up to 0.7 of a second, so we head back to the front of the field. Wes Shire still stalking his prey. Place looks like a safari park. Might as well make the analogy.
You think this part of it is a safari park? Try going up some of the mountains around here. That's a real safari.
Man, once again, Matt Houston opens up the gap down the hill. I mean, it is a huge difference. You almost wonder if he's carrying just the tiniest bit less downforce, but it's just enough that he's able to open up the gap once he's at full throttle.
That'd be my guess, especially with how much faster Wes is up the hill where you really need all the downforce.
Back through the twisty bits, Wes going to be right on the rear wing. You almost wonder, though, is he going to have to make a really big move here late in this race?
Let's hope for our sakes he does.
Yeah, that'll make the show interesting.
Yeah, and let's hope it ends in a big fiery crash for my sake.
Wow. That would get you all the way up. All the way up to 6 there, James.
Exactly. Respectable. Which is all I can hope for at the moment.
West really able to hold on Houston as they come through the carousel down the hill. This is where West may have the shot. About the closest he's been as they get down to towards that turn 11 hairpin. Turn 10, I forget.
Turn 11.
Yeah,
Correct.
turn 11. Does Wes Shire try the big outbraking move? Not yet, he doesn't. Going to hold on for another lap, and it'll be 4 to go, this time by the start-finish line. Christian Jasper, J.W. Miller battling. Oh, and Nicholas Daly right there as well.
Where did he come from?
He has been laying down monster fast laps. Jasper now able to open the gap back up. He needs J.W. Miller to hold off Nicholas Daly because Christian Jasper's podium finish here could be in a little bit of jeopardy.
As well as JW's points lead in jeopardy as well.
Yeah, it's already in jeopardy because Wes Shire was only a handful of points back, and Wes currently running ahead of JW right now. Daly way out to the outside. He's going to have to back off of that one.
Oh, Peter, not again.
Just a little bit of an off-track issue that time.
Yeah, he's back on the track. He's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh, here's Daly trying to get by J.W. Miller through the S's. They make contact. Miller hard off into the outside wall. That absolutely tore the front end off of J.W. Miller's car. Man,
I wanted a freebie, but not like that.
Overly aggressive there from Nicholas Daly. We got to show you this one on the replay. Whole lot of left side loving from Nicholas Daly, and unfortunately, it's going to end up in the outside fence for J.W. Miller.
Yeah, was it me or was it? It looked like to me like Nicholas was like a mile off the curbing.
Maybe not a mile, but definitely not quite close enough either.
Yeah, I mean JW did everything he could to give him space. It's just Nicholas took way more than he needed.
Yeah, now he's going to be sitting about 2.5 seconds behind Christian Jasper. J.W. Miller in the pit lane, but that will be a very, very lengthy repair. I do not see him getting back out before the end of this race. Actually, to the point that James Watson may have a shot here at getting past J.W.
Yeah, because did he have to tow?
No, he was able to drive it back.
Yeah,
but
even still, with
the whole front end of that car was junk.
Yeah, they're not gonna... I'm not getting around this place fast. But, yeah, it's not gonna be that short of a repair.
Once again, the fight for the lead continuing to rage. Wes Shire, a little bit of a tag slapper, out of the top of the hill at 2.
Yeah, that is very catastrophic for JW's championship.
That's huge. JW, very realistically, could fall back as far as 9th in this race.
Yeah, Simon has gone off again and left the building, so he's not going to finish outside of the top 10, but yeah, about 7th or 8th may be what JW can do.
Nicholas Daly having these slight little off tracks as well. That gap is now 6 seconds back to Christian Jasper. In fact, Jasper over 2 seconds faster than Nicholas Daly last time. Oh, and Nicholas Daly crashed. He has an issue. Stephen Thompson going to come by, and Nicholas Daly has to take the tow back in the pits. Oh, and Wes Shire goes around. What a save! What a save by Wes Shire! Holy cow! Once again, we got to show you the replay. Good Lord, that car was sideways, backwards, and Wes Shire able to save it. Good Lord, Wes.
What on earth? That is unreal.
I'll tell you what, at this point, these guys are having a hell of a time keeping control of these race cars.
I told you.
But down to the white flag lap, it will be Matt Houston by 1.7 seconds. A valiant effort by Wes Shire will come up at least a little bit short in this one. Houston will run it down the hill through the S's for the final time. Out of turn number 10 through 11. Checkered flag is in the air. Matt Houston gets the win over Wes Shire. Christian Jasper going to come around to complete the podium here this evening. Here's Stephen Thompson through 11 for the final time. Bill Walker going to come around to complete his race. And it looks like James Watson will be the final car across the start-finish line here in the 6th position. The last hope for Watson to get a top 5. It's going to come to an end right here as Bill Walker will come across the line to claim the 5th position. And here is James Watson making his way out of the S's. Peter Donchak finishing the lap just ahead. And there is your final finisher here this evening, and it is James Watson up to position number 6. There's your race winner making his way into the pit lane and towards victory lane. Matt Houston gets the win here tonight. The win by 1.4 seconds over Wes Shire. Christian Jasper going to round out your podium. Stephen Thompson, Bill Walker, the top 5. Nicholas Daly, James Watson, J.W. Miller, Peter Donchak, and Simon Fell, the top 10. Chris Kresge, Mike McCullen round out tonight's 12-car field. And let's see, let's get ready to talk to our top 3 finishers here this evening. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do this one without the instant replays, but let's bring in your race winner tonight, Matt Houston. And I'll tell you what, man, that car was a rocket ship on rails tonight. Congratulations on a really, really good win.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I mean, this was Wes's setup. I can't run that much in the league because we run the Formula Indy series. I'm the admin of that series. We run that on Tuesdays as well. But our season is over, so I get to come over here and do a couple of races with you guys. And actually, this track is my winningest track in iRacing, going back to the Star Mazda days. So it's really good to get another win here.
Good Lord, man. You're an old head if you're talking about the Star Mazda car on iRacing.
That is right.
You had a really fun battle going on there with Wes for that entire race. Tell us a little bit about it. Obviously, you beat the guy with his own setup, but, man, he was right on you just about the entire time.
Yeah, there was that. I had a mess up. I don't know the corner numbers, but coming out of the kind of the drag strip area, I went wide. He was able to go kind of on the outside into the hairpin, but I kind of dove deep into there and maintained the position. He was nice enough to give me a bunch of room, and good to him, clean racer. And I knew that from Wes. He's a clean racer. Maybe not over in the Thunderdome. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's one we get to play around in and have some fun with for sure. And have to say a huge thank you to you, by the way, for stepping in and picking up the mic here Thursday night for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. We'll be able, obviously, fans will be able to see it here on the National Racing Network, but make sure we get the plugs in for Raceverse and all the other thank yous and shout outs you want to get in.
Yeah, thanks for approaching us for doing that. Gary's going to do that one. Gary's like, I would say Gary's even, he's way better than I am at the broadcast, so you're in good hands with him. But thank yous to give. I always have to thank my smoking hot wife for letting me do this stuff. Without her support and letting me come down to the basement for hours on end at night, she supports me and all that. And of course, everybody on Team Race for his crew, Gary, of course, Dakota, Sunset Arctic Games, Echo Blade. You can wish list it on Steam. I believe. Can
we get a pre-order on that?
You cannot get a pre-order. You have to wish list it. He might be changing it so that you can pre-order it at some point in time, but you have to ask Dakota about that one. That's the meme right there, is can you pre-order it?
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, Matt. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and hopefully we get to see you again next week.
I have to check which track are we doing?
That's a great question. I have no idea. You'd think we should know this.
You're as good as a broadcaster as I am, because I never know what the next track is.
I have no idea where the hell we're going. 95 laps at Richmond.
Yes.
That's
going to be fun.
I can already feel the pain of the right front tire.
That is exactly
All right,
right.
you guys take care, and thanks. It's great to have a win over here in the series.
Well, thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate it here. Let's bring in Wes Shire, our runner-up here tonight. Wes, the car was pretty good. You were up Matt's ass the entire race. Ultimately, one tiny little mistake and perhaps save of the year in a USF 2000 car.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how I saved that. I think probably the reflexes from the caffeine I get from Homestead coffee might have had something to do with that. But yeah, no, that was a lot of luck in that save. But yeah, no, car was good. I think I definitely had more pace in the first brake zones, like what, turn 2, 3, whatever they call it. All the kinks and straights there, who knows? But that's probably 2 or 3 tenths faster a lap there. Pretty much exactly equal everywhere else. So I think if I'd gotten around, I could have run away, but man, I just could not get a good run on Matt there. So
I tell you what, Wes,
fun race nonetheless.
you absolutely nailed the California math on the corner numbers there. So thank you very much for that. This was one of those that Matt was good, and he admitted he was running your setup, so you knew what was under the hood of that car. It really was going to boil down to who was going to make a mistake.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that was me. So yeah, it is what it is, but still a good day for the championship. So
that was going to be my final question
there,
here.
Yeah.
You had a pretty monster night in trying to claim your second championship here. You're going for the Triple Crown. JW having that issue, that really sort of changed the complexion of things. Do you approach these last couple of races differently now?
Nope, just full attack for both of them. If anything, this was the race I was worried for. The other two, and this is absolutely going to come back to bite me. The other two are the ones that I'm pretty confident about. So can't wait to see you on the interview after my lap 1 crash next week.
That is absolutely right. So thank you very much, Wes. Let's make sure we get the all the sponsor plugs in. You made a great Homestead reference already. I've said their name now as well, but we'll let you spit it out one more time.
Yeah, so as always, got to thank you for the broadcast. Got to thank Jason for putting together a whole Tuesday night rock block. Of course, big thank you to Homestead Coffee. Without them, I would not be a functional human ever. And of course, got to shout myself out. Friday nights, youtube.com/Tales from Rukon. A little live D&D at 7:30 Eastern. It's a lot of fun, and get to hear some weird voices and some nerds rolling dice.
Actually, we gave you a shout at that one, too, during the broadcast. So we were talking you guys up a little bit there. Good luck here in the Shock Series coming up, and let's bring in our third-place finisher, Christian Jasper. I tell you what, man, you had a fight on your hands, and then all of a sudden, JW was gone, Nicholas was gone, and you just got to cruise the last lap and a half or so.
Yeah, that was luck. That was all luck. I feel like I might have used all of my tires trying to keep up with Matt and Wes at the start. They were in a league of their own. It was crazy to see. I was hoping they might duke it out a little bit towards the end so I could maybe catch up to them, because I know I had maybe a little bit of a run in the SS on the backstretch, but I was just at that point, once they started pulling away, I was like, okay, as long as I don't change spots, I'm good. I'll be happy with it, and we're happy today.
I was just going to say, you get to leave here a happy man, because the car comes out of here in one piece, which not everybody was able to say, and probably a little bit of confidence here as we get ready to get off to Iowa here for the TNT Shock Series.
A little bit, yeah. Like short ovals are. I don't know. Nashville, sometimes I feel like that might have been a little bit of a fluke, but I don't know. Sometimes I have some good showings at Iowa. I did pretty well in the RIL. Let's see if we can let's see if we can make it another podium.
All right, buddy. Good luck here. Let's make sure we get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you go.
All right, thank you. Yes, big thank you to Rosh's Way Bakery. Huge thank you to Get 'em Fashion and Soul Chest. Thank y'all for letting me run your colors tonight. Really hoping I'm doing y'all proud. Here's to hoping for another good result at Iowa.
Yeah, we are absolutely looking forward to that race coming up here in just a little bit. So good luck in that one. Hopefully we're talking to you again.
Cheers.
All right, buddy. That's Christian Jasper. Let's finish things up here with Mr. James Watson before he goes and jumps in the car for the TNT Shock Series. That was a very fun race to watch. I was worried that we were going to have seconds between cars, and the reality is we got to see some pretty tight racing.
I knew it was going to be fun. A lot of people don't have a high opinion of this place, but in the right car, it's a lot of fun to drive, and it's a lot of fun to race. I knew this was going to be one of our better races, and they didn't let me down.
Well, now what do you think here as we get ready to head off to Iowa Speedway? Obviously, you're going to be in contention in that one, but there's going to be a lot of fast race cars.
Yeah, we've seen Iowa put on millions of shows as long as this league existed, so the action is not going to stop at all. I'm looking forward to it.
I can say much the same thing. If I had to go out on a high note, it's going to be the PM18s at Iowa, that's for sure. But with that, we're going to let James go get in the other race car. We're going to get ourselves ready for the next one. Don't miss it. TNT Shock Series coming up at 10:15.